Hi guys, welcome back to Leiloando Ideias. Today I'm here sitting on my couch with my Lion King t-shirt and my blankets just chilling, and there's nothing better than chilling than watching some Netflix, right? Well, here at home we watch a lot of thrillers and horror films, and we know the struggle to find some good things to watch on Netflix with those lame descriptions that they have on their content. So today I'm gonna talk about some of the thrillers and horrors that we've watched recently and that we really liked, and maybe you can watch it too and let us know what you think. Even though I've done some research on the titles that we've been watching recently, I decided that this video is gonna be pretty much me telling the stories or synopsis or whatever. I'm gonna try not to give that many spoilers and to the best of my knowledge. So bear with me and my language barrier, because I think this is gonna be really interesting today. So I'm gonna start with a movie that is so good, it has 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's kind of impressive, but I am also not surprised because I really liked it. And maybe I'm biased because I really like the franchise overall, and it's been going on for a while, so every time there is a new movie coming out, people are like, wait, what? And the movie that I'm gonna talk about is The Cult of Chucky. Okay, so The Cult of Chucky is a sequel to The Curse of Chucky, which is also on Netflix, but it's super bad. So in The Curse of Chucky, in The Curse of Chucky. Now I'm gonna just start getting confused. So in The Curse of Chucky, Nika Pierce is this woman in a wheelchair, and her mom dies, her sister comes along, her sister and her don't have the best of relationships, there is Chucky involved, Chuck got to the house, and Chucky actually killed Nika's mom, but in the end of the movie, everybody dies except Nika, and then of course the police doesn't believe that she didn't kill her sister and her brother-in-law, and then she ends up in a mental institution, and that's where we find her in The Cult of Chucky. So after 4 years in the mental institution, Nika thinks that she is, she's recovered, Chucky's in her past. There's no way that Chucky is gonna come back to her life. However, he does, because it's Chucky. He finds his ways. And then she tries to warn everybody in the mental institution, saying that that doll is cursed, and they don't believe her because they think that she's having, problems again. And so all these mysterious things start happening in the mental institution. And what is great about this movie is that they bring back the character of Andy from the original franchise. And this is the first time that one of the sequels actually talks back or brings back characters from other movies. And so they bring back Andy, and also Tiffany is involved in this movie. And I did think that Tiffany died at some point, but at this time, I don't know if Tiffany actually came back in the body of that actress that is famous, and I forget the name, the blonde one that actually played Tiffany. It's very confusing. But anyway, so The Cult of Chucky has the absolute best jokes. And it's one of those horror films that they just try to make fun of themselves, because after all this time, this franchise, it's not taken serious anymore. So they end up getting all these really, really nice jokes, and it's hysterical at the same time that it's super creepy, and it's also kind of terrifying and very well done. I absolutely recommend it, and I honestly think that everybody who loves horror films need to watch this movie. You don't need to watch The Curse of Chucky, but you absolutely need to watch The Cult of Chucky. Okay, so now let's move on to a shark movie, because people really like sharks. Hi, Paula. And well, Paula was actually the one who recommended this movie to me. And after The Shallows, I honestly thought to myself, I'm not gonna watch more shark movies, because I thought The Shallows was kind of bad, but apparently The Shallows had 78% on Rotten Tomatoes? How? I don't know. Anyway, the movie I'm gonna talk about now had 55% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I was actually impressed that this one was less successful with the critics than The Shallows. Anyway, so now we're gonna talk about 47 Meters Down. So 47 Meters Down happens in a place where all bad ideas come to life, Mexico. These two sisters go to Mexico because Minnie Moore's character is having some really teenager problems, even though she's not a teenager anymore, with her relationship, and she decides that she needs to go on a vacation, you know, well, actually she bought the vacation to go with her boyfriend, whatever, but he decided not to go, and then she takes her sister with her, and her sister convinces her to do something really dumb because it's vacation in Mexico, right? And they decided to go to not really swim with the sharks because you're inside a cage and you can see the shark, but you're not swimming with them, but to go, you know, shark seeing. And then they find this really sketchy, shady guy. Well, they met through this guy through another two guys that they met at a nightclub because, you know, when you're vacationing, you start meeting a lot of people. I know that very well. And then they go to this really sketchy diving with the sharks kind of situation. And of course, it's a thriller, so everything's gonna go wrong, right? And while they're doing that, their cage get detached from the boat and it falls 47 meters down. The name of the movie, of course. And then it's a race against time to try to communicate with the people upstairs, to try to, you know, not get beaten by the sharks or eaten by the sharks or anything by the sharks. And it's just pure tension. And I kind of understand why it has such a low score on Rotten Tomatoes because overall all the characters' motivations are kind of weak and kind of weird, and from a filmmaker point of view, the movie, it's not necessarily very clever, and stakes are not really high in the beginning of the movie, and it starts getting better once they are actually in the bottom of the ocean. But once they're in the bottom of the ocean, you kind of forget of everything that you saw before because it's so tense. I definitely recommend. So the next movie has 27% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's very low, I know. But it has James Franco in it. And I don't know, there's something about James Franco that everything that he's in it, I just want to watch. And so when I saw The Vault on Netflix, I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna watch that. Okay, so The Vault is this horror movie about this bank robbery going wrong because of ghosts. Yes, you heard it right. Ghosts. So these two sisters need to rob this bank along with their brother and these other people that we don't really know who they are, because apparently their brother is in a pickle and he really needs the money. They end up at this bank that the main vault in the bank doesn't have a lot of money, and then one of the assistant managers of the bank is like, oh, actually there's a vault downstairs that has 6 billion or million, I don't remember how many dollars, and that's gonna solve all your problems. You just have to promise me you're not gonna kill anyone. Anyway, so the robbers go downstairs, and that's a haunted vault because years back people were murdered in there. And so this movie is so great because it's kind of weird and lame and you're just like, wait, what? But overall the story is actually pretty good. The main problem, I think, it's the very end when they try to do this like plot twist, but you're not M. Night Shyamalan and your plot twist doesn't work. And you're just like, why did you do that in your movie? It was so good until this point. but it's definitely worth watching. I definitely recommend it. Okay, so the final horror movie that I'm gonna recommend to you today is actually a British production, and after the first 2 minutes of the movie, I was like, I need closed captions. And even my husband, who's American, he was like, yeah, we need closed captions here. And it is called The Ritual. All right, so The Ritual starts with these 5 mates that are at a pub somewhere in England, I guess, having some drinks and trying to decide where they're gonna go vacationing next. Apparently only one of them doesn't really have a family or is married, because everybody else seems to be, and he's, you know, the party person, blah 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 blah. They are deciding where they want to go, and one of the suggestions is to go hiking on the King's Trail and between Sweden and another country. And so they all mock the suggestion, blah 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 blah. They get out of the pub, and then this guy that is still single, he wants to keep partying, and he's like, oh, I want to go to that, you know, convenience store and buy more booze to keep partying. And most of the guys are like, no, we don't, we just want to go home, blah 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 blah. And then this one guy's like, okay, I'll go along with you. They go to the convenience store and they are like discussing about life, blah blah blah, when they realize that the convenience store is being robbed by junkies. So the guy who is like a party person finds a place like to hide, but then the other guy, the nice guy that wanted to go hiking, it's just there in the spotlight for the robbers to, you know, mug him. And then the guy who's the party guy, he's like looking the situation, and instead of reacting, he just leaves his friend to die. And then he feels guilty, and after 6 months, all these guys go hiking on the King's Trail in the memory, for the memory of their lost friend. And guys, this movie is absolutely terrifying. I was like on the edge of my seat, and I was thinking to myself, oh my god, I went to film school, why am I so scared? Because once you go to film school, you kind of know how things are made, and you kind of like lose its appeal. But this movie was so tense, and this movie was so scary, because after hiking a little bit, one of the guys, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this, the chubby one, he falls down and he hurts his knee, and then the other guy who's kind of like leading, and he has you know, the compass, he's like, okay, we can go through this forest and that's gonna save us a day. And then they're all like, sure, let's go through this forest that is not part of our trail, that is not supposed to be, you know, entered or something. That sounds like a good idea, right? Wrong. So of course the forest is haunted, and I'm not gonna say much, but you guys absolutely need to watch The Ritual, because it's as scary as beep. And yeah, you need to watch. Okay, so before I finish this video today, I do need to leave you a piece of advice. Do not watch Cloverfield The Paradox, or whatever the name of that movie is. It is so bad. You would think that after Cloverfield 10 Lane, they were gonna make something better, but no, they make something that it's not quite as bad as the original Cloverfield, but it's really bad. And you're just like, why? The very last scene is so bad. It's, oh my god, mind-blowing bad. You can just watch it for the very last scene if you want, but I don't personally recommend it. And that's it for today, guys. So let me know what you think if you watch the movies, or if you have any suggestion of thrillers or horror films for us to watch, please leave it on the comments. I appreciate it very, very much, because we are always on the look for new things to watch over here. And I'll see you guys next time.